Alright guys, how's it going this evening? So it's about 8:45. Looks like the moisture's starting to come on, the tires are getting a little wet. But figured I'd give you guys a little bit of a hay update. I made a video kind of earlier, I don't know, a couple days ago or something, but I just haven't gotten around to editing it, and plus it's kind of a long video and whatever else. But so we're in this little 12 acre piece. We do have some hay damage from some high winds. It's in this field too, but then there's a big massive chunk down it's up on the hill there, but more between the hill and the old fence line that's over there. It took a beating. So this is the hay down here, and it's so I don't know, I guess it kind of depends on where you stand at too, but it's probably about up to my belt, which isn't the greatest stuff in the world. Like, it ain't really tall, but the stand is not very thick either. I don't know, I mean, it looks like good stuff, and the cows will eat it. I don't think they ever really complain about it. So the only problem is that for tonnage or bales, however you want to look at it, we don't get enough off this field. I think last year we only got like 10, and then the year before that I think we got like 15. But then, we had kind of a drought this year too. A good amount of June there, we didn't get any rain. So we got the last week of June, we got up to 2 inches of rain throughout like a 3-day span. So not complaining there too much. We're actually still kind of drying out a little bit from that, but it's haying season now. It's July 1st now. So I don't really want any more rain now. I mean, there's really no sense to it for right now. Once we get this hay cut and baled, then it can rain all it wants. But imagine the young guys cutting hay and baling hay. I don't know when he's going to get here. That'll probably be another week yet. Might even be 2. Could even be more, but it just depends on how backlogged he is. It seems like when he's by himself, well, then it takes all the longer for him to get stuff done. So, but yeah, I don't know. I would rather see alfalfa in this field, to be honest with you, but you know what, the young guy says that stuff's not going to grow here. Well, I mean, I think it kind of would, but it wouldn't last that long. I don't know how long really it would last, but I just think alfalfa's better, just because, like if you have a good year, you cut the first cut, you take it off, the stuff can grow back, and then you could go for even for a second cutting. And while you don't get a second cutting off this, we've never had a year where we could get a second cutting off. Just like, well, this isn't natural grass. This was stuff that the young guy planted, but this stuff and then the natural grass, you never really get a second cutting off it. I think that one year, I don't know what was growing out in that field, but it got a good 2 feet tall. I don't know if it was some kind of a flower or what. But I was like, oh man, if we just had the little farm all up and running, had a sickle bar on it, cut that shit down, rake it into a windrow, and then you could just go feed that directly to the cows. I mean, it would never add up to anything to a bale, so there would be no sense of baling it, but it would still be worth cutting. So, but yeah, this stuff down here is actually decent. I kind of got a feeling that we're probably going to get 10 bales off this. I would like to see way more than that, but we're not going to get it. I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong in past years, but I don't have high hopes really anymore for really a good hay crop. Even though the hay out here, though, in this big field, is actually pretty decent, like especially down here in this little spot. So I'll get over here and show you. Hear something loud. Sounds like a tractor. Hear that? Oh shit, it's a glider. It's a glider guy. That's what I'm hearing right now. Shit. Well, we'll see what he's gonna do here in a minute. We'll let him go by, I guess. So, sounded like a damn tractor at first. You hear it? But that's the closest I've ever had somebody come over our land. So, there he is, right above my head. I don't know how he's getting that thing to even fly, because there's no wind. Well, don't go steal Big Red now, because he's over there. But, well, if you do, you ain't going very far with him, I guess. But, yeah, he's right over there now. Yeah, I've never. That's actually the second time now I've seen somebody do that. That's the damnedest thing. I know somebody did it last year too, but they didn't come this far over. They wouldn't even barely come across the river. They're probably going to see Big Red, but I guess they know that I'm out here. I'm sure they can't miss this guy with a big bright blue shirt on. Huh, well, I'll be damned. That's a first. I don't know how the hell they got that thing up in the air. I suppose maybe at the airport. I don't know. I don't know where there's any good places to lift off with those stupid things, but I guess somebody around here has got balls. They want to go flying now. Uh-oh. He's making a turnaround. He's going to make a turnaround now. He's going to come get me. I don't know. He's over there now. Oh, you can't even see him. He's right there. Yeah. That's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. That's only the second time now I've seen that here anyway. I mean, I've seen it like on TV and whatever, but fuck all for here. He throttled down a little bit. He might be going for a landing, but yeah. This grass here is the only shit that's about chest height. Everything else, well, it's like that throughout this whole entire field, so I'm not going to walk the whole bloody thing, but hay out here is pretty good. It ain't great, but it's good. Like, I'm not going to complain, but, I mean, I wish it was taller. Problem being is it's not like that throughout the whole entire field. There are spots that are a little bit thinner, which is kind of weird because I think that's the low spots, and usually the low spots are flooded. So they technically should grow, pretty good. But I don't know. But yeah, it's decent stuff. What's really impressive though, is once you get up on the hill, and of course if you follow my trail to about the corner of the dike, all that area there, it's just jam-packed full of alfalfa. And some of that alfalfa has actually made it into this field, which is actually kind of exciting, even though it's not going to do anything. But it kind of shows that the alfalfa is trying to come back. But it's never going to come back to the full extent because it needs help. Here it's just doing whatever alfalfa does naturally, which is, trying to reseed, but it can't reseed fast enough for the tonnage, I think I counted, because I don't know where they're at now, but I think I counted 7 alfalfa plants out here, which is kind of a nice thing to see. So I kind of hope that alfalfa does kind of spread out here. I've thought about, I don't know, probably won't work, but I was kind of thinking maybe buying I guess you can only get them in like a 50 pound bag of seed, by getting some alfalfa seed and maybe just throwing it out here, maybe even out there, kind of like right before maybe like a big storm or something, and see if it would grow. Probably not, because it needs help to grow. It needs to be actually planted, and I think they need like a buddy, a friend. That's why usually when you plant alfalfa, you would plant like oats or wheat or something with it. You really couldn't plant alfalfa by itself, I guess. I suppose if you did do it by itself, it probably wouldn't grow very well, if at all. But I know that, I'm trying to remember now, I don't think we did that here when we put this grass in. I don't think we threw wheat in or anything. I think we just threw the grass in, and that was it. So I think it's just the alfalfa or other crops like that need a buddy. This is just growing on its own. So, but yeah, so I don't know where I've seen those alfalfa plants, but I know there was at least 7 of them out here. Kind of all in a little pile too. So, but yeah, it would be kind of nice if alfalfa would start to grow out here. I mean, it wouldn't have to, well, if it filled in its whole entire field, I'd be okay with that too, but you would have to seed it. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like if you planted alfalfa in here and you got a really good stand going, you could probably get 2 or 3 cuttings a year off this, depending on rain conditions. So, but the young guy says it wouldn't do very well because the flood would choke it out. So this is the very last field that the water gets off of, so this is going to be underwater the longest. So yeah, alfalfa probably would struggle down here a little bit, but there's been talk, I mean, we haven't talked about it in years because it's obviously never going to happen. I think we were going to, plant something in here like we did now, but then start ripping up parts of that field and then actually seeding, like alfalfa or something in there, or more of this stuff. But I don't know. I mean, you get good grass out there on a good year, and this year it's been okay. A lot of it, I think, it's just due to the flooding and snow melt, but we didn't get a lot of rain in the month of June, so that kind of slowed it down. And this grass isn't going to do nothing now. Even after that 2 inches of rain, it's done. It's already seeding. It's already heading out. That's why this field is kind of that brown color or whatever, because it's all done now. It's not going to grow anymore. Now, if we had a nice long season, nice long summer, and some good rain and heat, you probably could cut this and it probably would start to grow again. But that might take a month or two. But like I said, you'd have to have a pretty long summer to get that. But I don't know, but it is what it is. We got, at least, it's better than nothing down here. Used to be a grain field. This here. And, well, there's a lot more history to this too, I guess. But I think back in the day, I don't know if the great-grandparents still own this land, or if the state owned it, or whatever the hell it was. But supposedly, well, at one time this town used to be an actual town. Now it's just kind of like a ghost town. There ain't nothing really here. But that's how it is with these small towns. Things shift and move, and things fall apart, and people leave, right? So then, suppose this used to be a big town, and it had its own school, which the building is still there, but it's junk. Supposedly we had a church, which then moved over to North Dakota, but the building moved down south a little ways. That's where my house is at now. And then, a bank. Well, there's everything. It used to be a fucking town, all right? It had everything a town had. Now we don't have anything. So, but typical. So, but this ground right here that we're standing on, I think supposedly back in the day, this is where they used to have the fair. Well, even for this little shit town here, I guess we used to be able to afford fairs, It costs money to run a fair, so, but supposedly this is where they had it, was in this field, and I don't imagine those power lines weren't here at the time. So, but then I think the great-grandparents bought it, or, well, yeah, obviously they bought it, but I don't know if they bought it because the town couldn't afford to keep it anymore, or because the town wasn't using it anymore. I think I hear a boat over there. But now it's obviously ours now, but then they used to, when the great-grandparents took it over, then they plowed it under, and this is where they used to grow crops. Here, and then there's a little piece on the opposite side of these woods. But it used to be all one big thing. But that was always so wet down there that they never could farm it. So then they just gave up. So that's why those trees are there now. I think we could just take the trees down and just cut the hay. But that's a hell of a lot of work. You would have to have, you could do it with an excavator. Rip them down and then dig stumps out. Disc it a few times or whatever, and then either seed it with this stuff or just let the grass naturally grow in and spray it, of course, for weeds. But I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. So, how this ground used to be many different things at one time. First, it was fairground. This is where the town had their fair. And then it was dirt land for many years, obviously. This is where the great-grandparents put their crops in. And then from there, it's now hay ground. So, yeah, well, what are you going to do? So, kind of miss growing crops, but it was mostly the young guy first it was the great-grandparents, and then the old-timer did it for a number of years. And then the young guy did it for a few years, and then we decided to plant grass in here because we needed the hay more than the crops. So, but I kind of miss growing crops. That's why I kind of wish I could buy. Fireworks are going off now. That's why I wish I had money to buy like another 12-acre piece of land, somewhere close to home, and then just plant crops in that. So it'd be obviously just more for fun than anything else, but I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, the hay down here is doing pretty good. Honestly, I think I've seen better. But given that it wasn't looking that hot back in early June, it wasn't looking all that hot. And I figured, well, it's gonna probably burn up because there's no freaking rain. Nah, despite the drought, she grew, and she's doing all right. She's she ain't short, but she ain't tall either. I've seen it way taller. I like grass. Well, I think this stuff is taller. It's probably about the height of Big Red's front rack. That's how I gauge grass. Figured if it's taller than that, then it's probably decent stuff. Well, yeah, this stuff would definitely be taller than Big Red's front rack now, but I've seen it way taller. And it's actually way taller. Well, it's this other grass that's growing down here. It's up along the tree lines there. That stuff grows really, really tall, but the problem with that is such a thin, stalk of the plant. So here's a little bit of wind damage for you. So yeah, I just I don't know. Whatever this is, I don't know what it is. It's the same as what's growing along the tree line. This is the stuff that I kind of like more. I don't know about the cows. But see, this stuff is nice and tall, and this stuff would get even taller if it had gotten rain. Like, some of the stuff is easily up to... fucking bugs, get out of here. It's probably... maybe up to my nose, kind of, give or take. This is what's growing in here now too, but this was naturally planted here. Because if this was man planted, well, then there'd be a whole shit ton of it. There's only like this little section of it here, and then there's alfalfa over in that section there. So, but yeah, I don't know. So I think that's where I walked. I was down here the other day, but I never uploaded that video because I got too damn long. But I mean, it's just more of that really tall stuff. It looks, I know from down here, it looks like it's way better. Up here, you have to remember that's a hill. We're at the bottom of the hill, so it always looks taller. I wish our grass was that tall. If that was tall, that'd be over my head. That would be some really damn good grass there. If you had it over your head, 6 feet tall grass. You probably would have a hard time feeding that shit through the baler, but the baler probably would chew it up. But I don't know. The only thing that I'm kind of pissed off about is this freaking wind damage that we took. I don't know if it's going to recover from this or not. It looks like it's trying. I just don't think it's going to. I mean, it might. I don't know. It's only got probably maybe a week to try to bounce back before he comes here and cuts it down. So, but I'm still a little irritated by it. I hate seeing it because I feel like it's a waste of grass. Especially if the cutters don't get it. No, I'm actually, well, I think there's more up there too, but this was right here. This is all grass damage here. It looks like it's tried to come back. So I don't know, maybe it will bounce back then. Because before it was completely flat. It was, especially in that stuff over there, it was flat down to the ground. But it looks like it's tried to bounce back up. So if it gets up just enough that the cutters can get under it, then I think we can save it. But once it's flat ass on the ground, there ain't no getting it. So, but what are you gonna do? You know. So, but yeah, other than that, the hay's looking good this year. I mean, I've seen way better, but since we didn't get any rain for the month of June, you know, we kind of the hay didn't really do all that hot. But I guess a little bit of all that snow that we got and then the flooding is what kind of did it for us, you know. It's what gave us a chance of hay here. So I'm not complaining too much. There's going to be, obviously there's going to be something here. If this was short like my lawn, well then we're done. We're selling all our cows and we're done. Buying 70 bales to get us through the year is well over $1,000. So yeah, we're not budgeted for that. My grandma's got to save up for a snowblower. So, you know, and I'm trying to get shit done too. So, it's taking one, what can you do? Looks like a fern weed of some kind. But yeah, so I guess guys, I'm going to take off. I just want to give you guys a little bit of a hay update. It's looking like good stuff. I've seen way worse, so I guess I'm not going to, I mean, back in for like, well, June 1st, let's say, this was looking kind of shitty. Well, you still got another month to grow yet, but it's just a question, you know, rain. Rain is going to be the big question now. Are we going to get a lot of it, or are we going to get none? I would say we got about 2 inches for the whole month of June. We had little spits here and there, but those little spits don't do nothing. So I don't even count that. It doesn't do nothing for us. So, you know, screw it. But yeah, I'm sure the young guy won't be too happy with this, but you know, I tried to get shit done before July, but we're gonna lose a little bit of hay down here. There would have been a lot more, but we're gonna lose quite a bit here because because there's a trail here, and I've murdered a lot of this grass. But this will come back next year. But that's because I was hauling trees off the trail, because they were trees that were bugging the shit out of me, because you can never get the tractor down there, you know, to do what you got to do. So I don't know if we could get into this low spot or not. That's another thing too, why I wanted that little freaking tractor going, because they never cut this low stuff. And there were some times that they could have cut it. Of course, they don't know what's in there. I imagine nothing, because I look at it, you know, whenever I can get down here. I look at it right after the flood or something, and there's usually only water in here. But there's been years that it's been dry. It's probably dry now, and it probably will dry even more if you manage to cut a lot of that grass out of there. There is a bush growing here, so I have to try to take that bush out sometime. But that's kind of the plans of what I want to do, you know, with that little tractor, is cut all the stuff that he didn't want to cut, and then just throw it either onto a windrow or just go feed it to the cows directly, you know. They'd probably eat it right away, I'm sure of it. If not, well, then we'll just throw it on a windrow then. So, but what are you going to do, right? So, well, yeah, other than that, I guess that's pretty much it. I just want to give you guys a little bit of a hay update, and you guys can kind of tell me what you think, and let me know what your guys' hay is doing. If you got a good healthy stand close to this, or better, or worse, I want to hear about it. We're doing all right. I mean, this is good. I've seen worse and I've seen better, but for this field alone, 10 bales. I think that's all we're going to get off this field. That one year we had 15. If we'd get 15 again, I'd be pretty happy, but I highly doubt it. So, I don't know, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, you guys let me know what your hay fields are doing. There's the moon playing peekaboo. You're not going to be able to see it. It's right above, well, you can, right there. Right there. Moon's playing peekaboo. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm going to take off, so I guess I have a good day and stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.